people, I'm back. Sorry for uploading later than usual. Life is really getting busier these days. But here we are. Welcome to this underground paradise. This build is very architectural and somewhat realistic, like my hidden villa build. This is also a big build which is set in a 50 by 50 lot in Willow Creek. And it is beside a lot of my previous build, the fairy pods. Thank you for appreciating my previous build and my other builds as well. It really drives me to pursue my YouTube channel, so thank you and thank you again and again. And by the way, I now have an Instagram and Twitter account. I actually posted a sneak peek of this build into those, so if you want to see sneak peeks of my upcoming builds, hope you can follow me in those platforms. I'm gonna put the links in the description box below so you can check them there. So, you will see that this video is much more sped up than my previous videos and than my hidden villa build, because I tried to fit in all the aspects, the exterior, the interior, and landscaping in one video. And this is a pure base game only build, no packs and no custom content. You will not have a hard time finding this in the gallery, and check out the description box, the gallery link is there. So, this build is something Asian. I really like this architecture, the way the spaces are surrounded by lush nature, and the way they connect with the expansive outdoors. Yes, this is a Japanese-inspired build. In this build, I want to make my own modern take of a traditional Japanese house. I wanted an expansive lot to accommodate all of the landscaping and the colorful and beautiful trees of the Japanese architecture. This build is like a mix of minimalist, brutalist, and rustic architecture. I like how this build is very modern and very traditional at the same time. You will see here that I have created these spandrels. At first, I created a single spandrel or trellis, then I saved it to my library and placed it continuously into my build. It saves a lot of time because it is just like copying the spandrels. I tried to just copy the room, but it is only the walls and foundations that are copied. So I did this trick which I learned from Leo, also known as Freezer Bunny, who is a Pinoy swimmer and whose builds are really awesome and architecturally realistic. I like how he incorporates his background in architecture in his builds. I'm a fan of him even before I started my YouTube speed building paradise. I have watched a lot of his videos, and this build is actually inspired by his Japanese builds. I really like those. So thank you so much, Leo. Back to the spandrels. This spandrel or trellis area create a more sensible place through its shadow play. Light and shadow also plays a big role in Japanese architecture. Not only they are aesthetically pleasing, but they also provide functionality in a space, just like how lighting is important in paintings and photographs. As for the concept, I wanted a unique take on a Japanese house, so I built it in a mountainous or sloping site to make it appear like it's underground. And coincidentally, while I was searching about more infos about Japanese architecture, I found out that one of the oldest dwellings in Japanese architecture are pit houses, which are underground structures. I was really glad that I think this underground concept of this build is really in the right path to Japanese architecture. A part of it, the main building, which is two-story, is partially visible from the road, but the lower parts and the other single-story building is hidden. It also has a green roof wherein it seems like it is part of the mountain landscaping that you wouldn't know you're already stepping on the house, like in my hidden villa build. I really like that concept. I always want to incorporate it in my builds, so I did it here. At first, I just wanted a fully underground build, but then I realized that the space isn't enough to accommodate more bedrooms. That's why I added another story for the main building. You have seen that I only used natural textures as finishes for the walls and flooring of this house. The flooring of Japanese houses are either tatami mats or natural wood. For this build, I chose this pine wood texture which looks very fluid, and I used the same flooring in the indoors and the outdoor veranda. For the floor planning, even if I wanted a modern concept, I still incorporated the main parts or the outstanding parts of a Japanese house for authenticity. I'm so sorry guys, there are a lot of noises outside like the cocks crowing and the birds chirping. It is like that this time of the day where they are so active, and this is the only time that I got to record this for it to be able to be uploaded because it is really already late in my schedule. So going back, I placed the genkan, which is the popular traditional sunken foyer, but it is a little different here due to the concept of this build. It is like a second entryway of the house because you have to pass through the upper floor where the entrance is, and then you will go down to go to the second entryway, which is the genkan. It's in the lower level where the living, dining, and kitchen is located. And also, I placed a ceremonial tea room with tatami mat flooring. You will see it later, it's really cool. The upper floor of this main building houses the bedrooms for the kids with their common toilet and bath. You can convert them into a skills or career room if only you have a couple sim or one kid. Usually, Japanese houses have these dividers for every room or area for privacy and modularity. They are called shoji screens. But here, I opted for a more open planning of the main living spaces. It is because I want it to look really clean and breathable to prevent the confined feeling of being underground. There are a lot of interesting things here. I wanted a slick and modern fireplace, so I mixed and matched the items from the base game and from the debug sections. And it also has this window seat connected to it, which I really like, and I'm glad that this turned out pretty well. I test played it, so it is fully functional, don't worry. Also, I placed some trash bins off cam, so don't worry about that. And for the kitchen, I really struggled for the design of this because I couldn't seem to find anything that looks minimalist and Japanese. So I just rotated the cupboards and counters to show the more appropriate wood shade of the opposite side. It is more minimalist and Japanese looking. And for the living area of this house, I wanted it to look like the traditional Japanese living area, with a really low table and really low seats. So I used these chairs, which are really good looking. But these chairs are not actually functional with their position in this video, so you have to reposition them to make them usable. By the way, there is no TV in this house at all, but you can remove these paintings in the living area wall to place a TV instead. But here, I wanted to make this look very artsy and somewhat have a traditional touch, so I placed these rustic looking artworks instead. So I imagined this nook that it is like a memorabilia area of items and souvenirs from their ancestors. So now you will see that I am rotating these cupboards. To rotate them, you first have to remove the wall where you are aiming to place them, and then you build a wall away from that area for you to be able to attach the counters and rotate them in the way you want to position them. And then you can now freely place them in their original place. So remember that you need to eliminate the walls first so that you can place them freely. Now, on the second building, it is the master's wing, or we can call it the pool house. So the master's bedroom has its own ensuite bathroom and walk-in closet which you can convert into a cover room. And I made the bath area of the master's bedroom open so that it will look like those open Japanese bathhouses, and I placed a hot tub later on to make it seem like the hot springs in Japanese baths. The interior design of this bedroom is like the rest of the house, which is brutalist and minimalist with a rustic vibe because of the traditional touches here and there, like the lamps and the mirror and some other decor items. So actually, the clutter and decor in this house is very minimal because I want to stay true to the very clean and very fluid Japanese principle of architecture and design. And I like that Japanese people are very clean with their architectural lines. They are very true to their cultures and traditions, that they always consider their traditions when they are planning their houses. That's why they have this like staples of spaces that must be seen in their houses. Like they have this list of required spaces when they are planning their houses. This wing also houses the tea ceremony room, which is called chasitsu. I studied it back in my architecture college days under the Asian architecture of our history course. It was really interesting, and we were also tasked to draw Asian buildings using watercolor, which is really cool. When it is time to draw a Japanese building, I chose to draw the White Heron Castle, or the Himeji Castle. I like white and minimal buildings because I don't like to paint a lot of colors with watercolor. I just like painting 1 to 3 shades, like those monochromatic ones. Maybe that's just me, and I think I am better with monochromatic drawings than those fully colored ones. Let me just tell you something about the castle according to this Japanese guide website. So I quote, Himeji Castle, also known as White Heron Castle, Shirasagi-jo, due to its elegant white appearance, it is widely considered as Japan's most spectacular castle for its imposing size and beauty and its well-preserved complex castle grounds. The castle is both a national treasure and a World Heritage Site. Unlike many other Japanese castles, it was never destroyed by war. Earthquake or fire survives to this day as one of the country's 12 original castles. Going back, the chasitsu here, I also made it like a library, where you can have some tea and read books quietly. And thanks to Leo, I got the idea how to make tatami mat flooring. So thank you, Leo. I used these smooth keeper fences for this one, but they are not really smooth looking. So I don't know what pack the fences Leo uses, but you can change this into those if you have them so that these tatami mats will look better. The fire pit here in this tea ceremony room is functional and it is really cool looking. So you have seen in the facade or exterior of this build that I made my own sliding doors to show the indoor-outdoor connection in this house, right? I used the big floor-to-ceiling windows here. First, you have to place them in your walls. Then, you have to remove the walls so that you can move them freely to position them like sliding doors. After you're satisfied with your placement, you have to build the walls again. But now, you have to leave the sliding part open so it will be accessible and really look like sliding doors. If you have noticed in this tea ceremony room, the lighting is much better. It is because I built the walls to close the open area. Here in the Sims game, if you leave some walls open, it kinda messes up the lighting, because the game recognizes that area as outdoor, so it's kinda dark. If you want a better lighting, you can just close that sliding area and place a door on the side. But as for me, I like this open because I really want to show the connection and the fluidity of the indoor and outdoor. So yes, I can live with this lighting. These bedrooms are really minimal and Japanese looking, and I like them. I like their simplicity and their straightforwardness. They are very pleasing to my eyes, especially with these natural colors and textures. I would really like a bedroom in this style. These bedrooms have this common bathroom. I also like it very much, especially its flooring. I really like these styles. They are very Japanese looking, and by the way, the sink is FUN functional. You will see it later. I got you guys. I just played a lot of things here, so don't worry. I imagine that these walls are thick and really massive looking, and I used this raw concrete finishing for the walls to achieve that brutalist look. And these roofs are floor slabs here in the game. They are really thin, so it seems like this part is thin shell architecture. By the way, I forgot to mention in my previous build that type of structure, those fairy pods, is called thin shell structure or architecture because it is lightweight and curvy. My favorite types of thin shells are those that are called hyperbolic paraboloid, which we see from the creations of some famous architects like Zaha Hadid and Felix Candela. Comment down if you know them. I really love their works. Going back to this build, if you will not see the finishing of this texture, you will not be able to recognize it as a brutalist architecture actually. So this build has an expansive landscaping and outdoor area. That's why this build all in all has taken me a significant amount of time to finish. I'm really glad that there are a lot of different colored and textured trees in the debug items of this base game. That's why I was able to build this very nice looking landscaping. I want this property to be really private. The occupants here are professionals, I think, maybe in the architecture and design field or maybe in the medicine or medical field. And they are really private people. That's also what this underground concept signifies. I really love the planning and concept of this house. If I had more time, I will add more spaces for it to be more realistic and functional. Like a laundry room, pantry, and other utility rooms. And also maybe an entertainment room. And also a kitchen area for the pool house. But you can always add another story or maybe a basement to add those and expand this house. I always like to have a separate master's wings or other areas in my floor plans since my college days. Because I like the privacy and the sense of place it creates. And I like that these kinds of plans feel like they are resorts and that each wing is a different villa for a different occupant. We have this beautiful courtyard with a lake that really adds to the sense of place of this property. And this waterfall thing that is actually the water coming from the pool which flows down into the lake, which is a man-made one. So it's okay to make the waters fall down from the pool to the lake. It is really serene and calming to look at, especially when the sakura or cherry blossom tree is in picture. I have actually posted it in my other social media platforms. That was the sneak peek I was talking about. And it was a really cool short clip. Check it out there. And another, because Japan also has a humid summer like here in the Philippines, the orientation of the buildings here is perfect. The living and sleeping spaces are on the east to the northeast side, while the spaces on the west are shaded with trees. Also, the courtyard permits the circulation of cool wind throughout the site into the buildings. And back to the build, because of this privacy thing that I'm aiming, I placed a parking area outside the property, and it really looks cool. I intentionally made the fences here lower because I want to show it. When I am saving it to the gallery, I want to show that it is a underground house so that the fences will not cover it. That's why. That's the idea there. But in real life, if this will be a really private property, of course, I will make these fences higher. I will not lower them. Okay. So guys, I'm sorry about the noise. It has started raining here. Actually, it has been raining this past few days. Sometimes there are power interruptions, and then sometimes there are no rain at all, that the humid is really striking, then it's really hot, then at times the rain is so heavy. And going back, I made some Zen Gardens at the entrance gate of this house, and this gate is like a torii. A torii is the entrance gate or a sacred gate or entryway for Japanese. I like how this Zen Gardens turned out. They are really serene looking and very calming. I would love a Zen garden in my future home. Yes. And so, for the area beside the window seat, I placed also a Zen garden to make the space more serene and calming. Because Zen gardens make you have this feeling of serenity and relaxation and calmness, right? You can read a book in this window seat by the fireplace while overlooking that Zen garden and absorbing its soothing atmosphere. I think you can fall asleep there because of the very calming atmosphere. And I'd really like to have this kind of window seat in my future home, that kind of window where you have this view of a Zen garden and then you have this window seat by the fireplace. Oh, it's really cool. In this build, I discovered a much easier trick in placing landscaping objects in sloping terrains. You still have to place the foundation though, but I found an easier way to remove it afterwards. You are gonna use the custom wall tool. Then, while drawing the boundaries of the foundation, you have to press Ctrl because it will remove the foundation instead of placing the walls. I hope you understood that. I'm gonna add it to my tutorial video. Actually, I thought I was gonna be able to upload my tutorial video like earlier before this video, but then as I am doing this, as I am constructing this Japanese build, I have discovered some new tricks. So I want to add those to my tutorial video for a more in-depth and more knowledgeable video. So tell me if you'd like to see that tutorial tips and tricks video so that I will know if I will continue it. And also shout out to the one who commented, my Filipino subscriber, Rainier Shara. Okay, so hope you like this build. Hope you can further support me. Thank you. Here is the waterfall that I was talking about earlier. It really looks beautiful. For the green roof to be functional, I placed a barbecue grill and some outdoor furniture. When I test played this, my Sims are always cooking barbecues in this area, and I think it is really beautiful to have this barbecue or picnic party in this area where you have this view of the courtyard and also the view of the surroundings outside your property. It is like you have this 360 view of beautiful surroundings. Like you are traveling and then you had a picnic somewhere in the mountains, something like that. I added a monument, which is a very rigid and geometrical looking stone statue. I added it as a symbol to represent the important and rich generation and legacy of the family living here. I imagine it that this property is a renovated one or an improved one to cope up with the modern times. And I also have read that Japanese people like to innovate their buildings, like to renovate them to fit them more into the modern times. That is why. I imagine that the one living here is the son, like a 5th generation maybe, so it's kind of like that. And actually, this is the kind of statue that I would agree to place in my house. This is, I would say, architecturally pleasing. Yes. And I'm here for it, as Aiden says. Hey yo, Devon Bumpkin. I like that I added this touch of story in this build because the Japanese really value their culture and family history. So, going back, I also like the lighting in this build, really. Look at this really subtle lighting. The lighting in the bridge. I placed some lights in the trees off cam so that they shine bright at night. And they look really good. Yes. Now, just some finishing touches here. I have a Twitch account, by the way. I'm planning to do a Let's Play My Build series there in the right time. So, tell me if you'd like that. Hope you can follow me there. I'll link my account in the description box below. So, tell me what's your favorite build of mine. I also want to hear your thoughts about this build, of course. Did you like this kind of build that is more realistic, or do you like the futuristic ones? Tell me, pretty please. So, I really want to hear your thoughts. And I also want to know, did you learn something from this build? I want to know what build or what kind of houses do you want me to make for my next videos. Do you have any suggestions? I actually already have an idea for my next build, but I haven't started it yet. I'd like to do a house within a greenhouse kind of thing, which I saw in one of the architecture posts in Facebook. I really like that. It's a traditional Swedish cabin which is enclosed in a greenhouse. But yes, guys, I really want to know your thoughts and suggestions, so feel free to drop them on the comment box below. And so, yes, I hope you can follow me on my other social media accounts. It was really nice having you guys. I enjoyed building this a lot. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting me, and thank you very much for appreciating my builds. Hope you can subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you will be updated for my upcoming videos. I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye! Thank you.